So let us get started here, shall we? Just going to be kind of talking about a few things today. I am hidden behind a bunch of boxes again. Look at this. Boxes. And an envelope. So we do have that too. But let us talk about something first. This is my new shirt I bought recently. Look at that, August 1st, 1981. So last month, my friend Lance, my good buddy Lance, sent me and our little group of guys some information saying that MTV started then. He's always got some great tidbits. And I was like, oh, that should be a good time to start. But didn't get to. But I found this shirt. This is so great. One of my favorite things about it is that most everybody knows what the first song was on MTV, right? It was Video Killed the Radio Star, right? Wow, Video Killed the Radio Star. Let's say it like we know the name of the song. It's the Buggles, and in the Buggles were two main characters, shall we say, because that's kind of how it looks on their album cover. And one was Trevor Horn, the other one was Jeffrey Downs. Once they did that, soon after that, the guys from Yes were kind of gathering again to figure out what they were going to do next. And what they found out was that they weren't agreeing. So they hadn't had a good time of it. Tormato came out, didn't really go well. And no matter how you feel about that record, there's got to be those people out there that just think it's still one of their great records, and it's fine. I haven't listened to it in many years. I just remember getting my brother getting it as a cutout. So they didn't have a good time of it at that moment. So there goes John Anderson decided to bye-bye, and then Rick Wakeman decided bye-bye, and so then soon after that, then the guys from the Buggles joined up with the band, and they put out the album Drama, which I get. Okay, I'm taking this from my buddy who's a big Yes fan. Not a fan of this record. Change is hard sometimes. And it's just like other friends of mine who were really into the Doobie Brothers when Michael McDonald joined, said they shouldn't call it the Doobie Brothers anymore. They should call it something else. Why? Because it sounds so different. It's not really the same. Oh, let's talk about Marvel in the hands of Disney, Shang-Chi. That's not Shang-Chi. So, movie may have been entertaining, but they should have just called it something else, because that's not what it was. That's not who that character is. Same kind of thing, right? So Yes comes out with Drama. I love this record. It's probably the first Yes record I purchased, and it's got two of my all-time favorites on it. Tempest Fugit is on here, and Into the Lens is on here. It's a great gatefold. I recently got another copy of this album, but there you go. There's the band right there. Now, Steve Howe remained in the band, but then after this, Jeffrey Downs would move on with Steve Howe and would create what band? It's one that I love. And come to find out, there was another band with the same name right around the same time frame. Right before that, they would go on to form Asia. So Steve Howe would leave with Jeffrey Downs, and in his place would be Trevor Rabin, right? Trevor Rabin, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Rockstar. If you are, awesome. If you aren't, you should be. And a fun movie. Is it an Academy Award winner? No. But is it fun? Yes. Was it really cool because I had oddly enough met the musicians that were in the band? Steel Dragon that was in the movie? Yes. That's all good stuff, right? So that was exciting to me. I'm like, Zach Wilde, we talked, and there's Jason Bonham, and we talked, and Jeff Pilson's a friend of mine. So it was great to watch that and go, woo-hoo-hoo, this is cool. So, but Trevor Rabin did the soundtrack for that. So there's some cool jangly guitar stuff, that classic sound that he had when they went on and did 90125. And who produced this? Jeffrey Downs went with Steve Howe. Trevor Rabin joined Yes. Almost became a different kind of band, right? But vocally, those harmonies were still strong. And the songs, every song on here was strong. It was had a great commercial feel, but so well done and so well produced. Trevor Horn stayed with Yes for production and produced this record. So from the Buggles, 2 guys, 2 Yes, 1 guy with a Yes member left, made Asia. The other guy stayed put to help with the production. It's kind of cool. I'm eager to learn a little bit more about that as well. So I'll keep you with me on that. We'll do an update next time. All right. Sound good? So that's something I've been dying to share because I think that's one of my favorite stories. Today I was at work and somebody was doing some PT stuff with a student, and it was great because I said, "Oh, you need to be playing Let Me Roll It by Paul McCartney," and she did. I said, "You'll probably know it." She's a lot younger than I am, so I was kind of concerned that she might not know. So what I was going to do is, while I'm talking about a couple of things here, I wanted to just open up the drum kit while we're chatting a little bit here. And I had contacted my friend Toby Jepson over in the UK. I said, "Hey, looking forward to having you on the show." And I said, "Would you have time today?" But he's swamped right now. They're getting ready. Wayward Sons over in England are getting ready to hit the road again. So I'll put some dates up and things like that for these guys. It's just something to look towards. And if by chance you're going to happen to be over in the UK, over in Europe, then you should check these guys out. They're fantastic. And then I will talk a little bit more about their albums. So we have cymbal pads. That's our first box. So there we go. Looks like we have 3 of those in there. I hope everybody had a great day. I may be seeing about changing this time frame to about 3:30 on Wednesdays instead, because it does get a little tight. We got drum pads. If you guys remember right, this is the Donner electronic kit. I think I said it was the DED 200. So it comes with the cymbals. It comes with the cymbal pads, the drum pads. It comes with, there we go. There's our drum pad, one of our drum pads. And here's another one of our drum pads. I have to get this set up because my band Edge of Blue has a gig coming up and we're going to be doing some rehearsing, and I don't have a drum kit back here right now. So that's one of the reasons I have to get this thing out and about and ready to roll. So let's move this down in here and we can see that this is our throne seat right here. See how that looks. There we go. Nice, plain and simple, cushy for the tushy. The things we say. Accessories. Who knew we were going to get to accessorize? Drummers are special like that. They need accessorizing. That's also one of the reasons why I didn't become a drummer, because I'm too cheap. I started realizing that for every piece, accessories A. This isn't B. This is A. That means there's more. So these are, looks like they're the stands that are going to come off of the main drum stand that this piece is, so that we can put those drums on them. And I will not set that there. I will set that here. Also, I don't know if anybody is a firm collector in vinyl. Anybody out there is a collector in vinyl? We'll be talking about some of that on the show. be talking about some music today. I want to actually let's take a quick break here because I want to go through this list and see what you guys would think about this stuff. First of all, I found this on uh on uh sure, Amazon today. All right. It is called the Don't Call It Hair Metal: Art in the Excess of 80s Rock by Sean Kelly. Sean's written some other stuff. Um Sean Kelly has performed with Nelly Furtado, Lee Aaron, Alan Frew, Coney Hatch, which is out of Canada, Helix, also out of Canada, Gilby Clarke, Trapper, Rough Trade, and Crash Kelly. In 2015, he performed in Twisted Sister, frontman Dee Snider's Rock and Roll Christmas Tale. In 2023, he will be appearing in the Toronto production of Rock of Ages. Kelly is also a music teacher with the Toronto Catholic District School Board. So, there's one thing I want to take out of this is Coney Hatch. Check out Coney Hatch if you haven't. Here's the deal. So we know that there's bands out there that are making great music, right? My big fuss these days, and I share this I'm certain with a lot of people. My big rant these days is about some of these bands that are older, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I'm getting ready to go see this Kiss show. Amidst all of the, are there tracks being used? Are there not tracks being used? There's an interview with Blackie Lawless, but that whole Blackie Lawless Wasp thing is completely different. He's talking about backing tracks. He uses backing tracks for like keyboards and things like that he can't afford to take a whole band out and do all that. So it's no different than a local band that would take, like my band. Let's just say we have a 3-piece band, so we don't have the keyboards yet. I would love that. If anybody out there is in the local area and would like to, then especially I would love to have a woman in the band if she plays keyboards or guitar and sings well. Because I really enjoy that, and there's so many things you can do with that. So I am looking for that, but in the meantime, we don't have the keyboards. So what I'm checking out is you're like, well, should we do? I would love to play that song. It certainly fits our style of music, but we don't have the keyboards. So do you play a track in the background? Um, because I like to kind of leave things free so that we can, if I want my drummer to do a little something extra, I'd like for my guitar player. Both guys are brilliant. I love working with these guys. And a big shout out to Jim and Graham in Edge of Blue. Come on out and see us, and you'll meet these two gentlemen. They're so cool, so nice. I'm a jerk, um, but if I want to have that, you know, you can play along with the track and have the song here, and it ends. Boom. But I like to have a little bit of breathing room. So for me to have to confine myself to that time frame, um, it doesn't thrill me. But if I really had to do it, if I really wanted to get that done and really play a song, I would do it. And in order to do that, I would need a backing track with that keyboard on it, just to fill it out and make it sound good and interesting. Otherwise, it comes out sounding thin, and that's no fun. So, um, so backing tracks like that from Blackie Lawless, I get that. That's totally different for me, especially with some bands, and in America, it's tough to tour in America. It's expensive. Not only that, ticket sales are strange. Here in St. Louis, sometimes it gets a little weird. Let's just take, for instance, if you guys aren't familiar, y'all, if you like Tesla, if you're a Tesla fan, you'll remember the days when they kind of split up and everybody went their own way. So like Brian Wheat went off and did Soul Motor, and Jeff and Tommy went off and they did the Sofa Kings. And then Troy Luccketta was out doing session work with different people. He played with Mark Bonilla, did a couple albums with Mark Bonilla, which are brilliant, by the way. And if I could be Troy Luccketta for a second and give you some great advice, start your day with a nice big glass of water. It is healthy for you. It's a good start. But I know that for a while there, he was doing a big challenge thing. It's been years ago though, but it's good. It's wise and it's a smart idea. Start. So, but anyway, when they broke apart, the only person I haven't mentioned yet is Frank Hannon. So Frank Hannon got together with some other folks and they put together a Southern rock band and did one record, if I'm correct. And they had a track on there called Turn It Up. And in fact, I got to introduce the song when they were up in Peoria. But here's how weird it gets, right? So I go, I talk to a friend of mine at the grocery store. I bump into a photographer friend of mine. And he goes, "Hey, I'm going to go and see Moondog Mayne," was the name of the band, named after an old time wrestler. And so he said, "I'm going to go see Moondog Mayne, Frank Hannon's band. They're playing up in Peoria." Well, that's my hometown area. So I'm like, I'm in. So I go. They playing at what was the infirmary, which was located near the Civic Center there, the Peoria Civic Center. That club itself isn't there anymore. I would also see Quiet Riot there, which that was a riot. I'll tell you about that sometime soon. And anyway, but he says, "I'm going to go see him." I get there. It's packed. The place is packed. I make my way up to the front. We have a great time listening to the music. And then hung out with the band a little bit afterwards. And I had a CD single I'd gotten from Keishi and had it autographed. They're like, "Where'd you get this?" And I'm like, "I got it from the radio station." "You don't have one?" They're like, "No, I don't even have one." I said, "Well, it's yours. Take it." And they go, "No, it's yours." So I'll get that out. This was an impromptu thing, but I'll get that out and show it to you sometime. But great show, a lot of fun, great songs. And then they come to St. Louis area, shall I say, and they play over in on the east side, and at Pops, there's like 30 people. It's weird. It's just kind of, there's so much to do. That's what artists have told me, musicians have told me that have toured the world. They're like, there's just too much to do here in the States that, people that, and if you don't have a ton of people in that one spot, it's a hit or miss. Now, and that's not to say that there aren't some weird shows that get booked up and, there's a bunch of them here and there, but when you have everything overall, something falls through. And a lot of times that's some of these bands that come through. I would love to have seen Grim Reaper. Missed them when they came here into the St. Louis area. Would love to have seen them, but I missed out. And then I talked to a friend who went there, said there was like 30 people there. I mean, by the time I really think about going, I'm like, well, certainly it's just going to be a mess trying to get in there and blah, blah, blah. And then you find out there was only a few people there. I had a friend of mine, a coworker of mine, told me he went and saw Yngwie years ago up in Hannibal, Missouri, where they used to play on the river. And Yngwie was there and a couple other big bands were there. And he said there was barely 100 people there. So it's really interesting and intimate. So yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of strange how things like that work. But no, Moondog Mayne, great band. If you can get a hold of that record, do it. It's very cool Southern rock. I don't know what happened to the rest of those guys after that kind of broke up. But the album was really worthwhile. There's a bunch of songs on there that would fit my band that I think I'm going to be talking to the guys about. All right. Got another box open here. Looks like this is our foot pedal. Boom, boom, boom. So looking forward to that. Got the Donner logo on it. So yeah, needless to say, I have to get this thing set up. Another band I want to tell you about which is in a little treasure place right down here. I have my own little treasure box down here, and we'll talk about that later. But it does go along with my favorite band. Let's do a little unboxing here. This is something that I don't remember what it is. A lot of this stuff I've been saving for the show, so I've forgotten what it is. Oh, very nice. Wow. Now I'm trying to remember why I ordered an extra copy of this. No. I'm wondering if this was supposed to be vinyl. But anyway, this is really strange, guys, okay? This is how beautiful this first show is. I'm so glad to be back. And then look, I was just talking about them, and here it is, Wayward Sons. Whoop, that's all upside down. It's Ghosts of Yet to Come. I am trying to remember why I ordered this, because I own it. But look at this beautiful artwork on the cover. That's done by Stuart Dilley, and it just is fantastic stuff. The packaging on these are great. One of the things too that I thought about when I was working to help these guys on their second record, because I really want to get this name out. First of all, it's worthwhile. There's not a clunker in the bunch on this one, not a clunker in the bunch on the second record or the third record, and the extra album that they put out, Score Settled, which came out soon after the third one, is great too. It's just such great music. The lyricism is clever. Toby's a great kind of tongue-in-cheek, sometimes a little more of a bitch slap, but it's very I don't know if you're familiar with Eddie Izzard as a comedian, but just very snarky. There you go. Snarky. That's the word I would use. Just very snarky. He does a great job. And like I say, I interviewed him before when I was doing this show on Go Game Go. Just messaged with him this morning, and he was sorry that he couldn't make it on today. I was like, just in case, here's a link. But he says he's really booked up, which I can understand. Getting the band ready to go back on the road has got to be a lot of work. I've never done it. I've only done local things, so I cannot talk. Blake is here today with me. Thanks, Blake. Return of Hammerway begins now. Yes, we are on it. Yeah, it's been a little while, right? But I appreciate you hanging tight. Still don't know who Shang-Chi is. Yeah, you don't. Here's the best way to think about it. It is your favorite James Bond movie married with your favorite Bruce Lee movie. That's Shang-Chi, not that silliness. Let's just put it that way. That silliness they put on the screen. Entertaining film? Sure. A fun romp? Sure. Is there martial arts? Sure. Does he have a dad? Yes. Does he have a sister? Yes. Is the sister a little warped? Yes. But there's no espionage. There's no techie tech. Instead of having all the cool tech, like a James Bond movie, like these comics that I loved, they threw in dragons, which there's no dragons. There's no mystic weirdness. It's just cool. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. What are you saying here? Why is that doing that? I could drum, but I gave up on that when I was 13. Tried it at my dad's. One of his friends had a drum kit out. Oh, okay. Can't do it now because my fingers. Yeah, beat the crap. Blackie's smart. That's why I like the guy. Yeah, Blackie is very intelligent. In fact, I had a chance. I don't know if you guys know this, but the late great Ken Hensley from Uriah Heep used to live here in St. Louis, and he worked for a company called St. Louis Music, for whom I ended up working for their last 3 years until we were purchased and everybody was shoved out the door. Ridiculous. And then they took Ampeg to Vietnam. That's that's still sad. Um, but yeah, not too far from where I am, Ken Hensley lived for years, and then ended up uh, as soon as I moved nearer to him, ended up getting a divorce and moving back to Europe, and was doing the Uriah Heep thing over there, living in Spain, was my understanding, and doing the Uriah Heep thing with John Lawton again, who was in Lucifer's Friend, and then subsequently in Uriah Heep for a while. So, so yeah, but he worked on, and it's funny because um, KC95 here in town. Uh, there's a couple of major faux pas that I remember years ago. One of them, the DJ said, he said, "I'm going to play this song. Brand new Wasp album has come out, and it's called The Headless Children. And we got a track from it called Mean Man. Is it Mean Man? Is that no Motorcycle Man, right? Motorcycle Man." And I'm like, "No, you are not going to play that song because every chorus is mean mother effing man." And you're like, "Don't do it." And boom, there it started. I love that song. I will listen to that song every day. It is one of those songs I never get tired of hearing it, and I will listen to it. But when you're working on the radio and the FCC doesn't like what you're gonna do there, I'm sure that your higher ups aren't gonna like it either. And soon as he started playing it, I'm like, "I smell a Monday meeting." So, yeah. Oh, that was a classic. Um, Avenger Wannabe, you'd think maybe. Ampeg's part of Yamaha. Now it is. So why wouldn't they be in that? Why would they be in NAMM? Yeah, they were not a part of Yamaha. They were at the time they were St. Louis Music and made American made. But then after they were purchased, after St. Louis Music was purchased by Loud Technologies, who just screwed the pooch. Um, they could be just loving life right now if they would have just left everybody in place. We had brilliant people. Now, again, please do get me right here. We all have these moments where we're like, this was a crap decision, stupid, blah, blah, blah. You can go to your grave bitching and moaning. But you know what? These brilliant people that they let go because they're like, well, we can save some money and we can do this or that. I don't know what the hell their thought was, to tell you the truth. They sent in some guy who was a Matt Foley ripoff and, pulling up the pants and everything while we're having a little meeting saying, oh, we're going to keep everything the same. Yeah, no, you're not. But the brilliant people that they let go are now doing brilliant things for other people. Could they have been doing brilliant things for those guys still? Abso-frickin-lutely. But they took a shit on it and they decided to ruin that for themselves and let us all go. And then they decided, well, let's send Ampeg over to Vietnam. And that's when they lost endorsers. And now they some of the greatest bass players ever in my lifetime who endorsed Ampeg don't do that anymore. That's stupid. There you go. That's the end of that. So anyway, but anyway, some brilliant people. The main thing I want to say off of that is they are doing brilliant things for other companies, but also for themselves. They have some great companies out there. My buddy Obed Khan has some great stuff that he's working on. He's had his own company for a long while. Very smart individual. Um, and many others are doing just fine. And I say everything happens for a reason and everything happens when it should. That's why we're here now. Um, so yeah, but I bought a Yamaha guitar, a bass, a 5-string. And I'll tell you that story about how that came about later on. But I bought a Yamaha and have Ampeg equipment, so it's kind of interesting, and that's very wise of you, Blake. I didn't know that you would know that. Um, so anyway, but yeah, I answered that question yesterday. I have checked it out. Um, the Wasp album KFD, which is uh anyway, it is, what it is. So anyway, the production level on it was okay. Um, and I need to kind of listen to it some more to take it in and see what I think. I was gonna talk a little bit about that down the line, so I'll be talking about albums that are good or great or meh. But what I wanted to go through real quick before I get going, I don't know how long I'm gonna go today. Probably don't have to go too long. We've been on for 30 minutes already. So, but um, the other thing I wanted to go over was I was on Spotify today, right? And again, there's a lot of bands out there that are. Let's get back to where I was. That are older bands. And I don't have there's no problem with that. That's right, I got off on the tracks and stuff, but there's just nothing wrong with that. If they can still do it, that's great. If they're not doing it, don't. Like Foreigner, they were on their last tour because, I mean, at this point, there's no original members. The member and that is in no way, shape, or form to downsell any of those guys who have been loyal to that band and been in the band for over 20 years now. My good buddy Jeff Pilson, a killer musician, just one of the greatest dudes you'll ever meet in music. Um, but I mean, for me, it only goes so far. I mean, you can if there's once Mick is out, then great musicians still and playing great music. Um, but again, it's you know that all of these guys are more talented. I think their talents are better used doing their own thing. Like when, Thin Lizzy was going for years, and Ricky Warwick was in the band, they wrote so much new material, they were smart, they're like, "Hey," and if you don't know this band, check them out. Um, they're like, "We got all this new music, do we still call it Thin Lizzy? Let's just call it something else." Let's they kinda honor the fact that they're writing their own stuff and doing more. And let's face it, when you got some of these older name bands, people don't know them. Younger folks don't always know who that is. And if you're trying to make a mark and you're trying to move forward with things that you do, you don't have to use an old classic rock name. You can go on and do your own thing. Black Star Riders, a wonderful band. Check them out. That's what Thin Lizzy did. They're like, "Look, we have all these new songs. Let's just do a different band. Let's call it Black Star Riders." If you haven't checked them out, you're missing out. And I already told you about Primal Fear. If you haven't checked them out, there's so much. That's the beauty of some of this too. You hear about all these bands, and that's what I want to kind of bring to you. And also, like, I'll mention Sea of Tranquility again, because on there, I got turned on to a band recently, uh, Elegant Weapon, which is, a bunch of guys got together and did this great metal record. Check it out. It's great. Front to back. It's got some ballad stuff on it. It's really good. Um, and, um, and anyway, but you have these older bands that are going out. Some can do it. Some maybe shouldn't do it, but they're doing it. And the tough part is that there's two things that happen out there. Either there's a lot of bands that can't really do it anymore, shouldn't be doing it anymore, however you feel about that, or that are you just flat out using tracks for everything, not even playing. We have to remember a person from Milli Vanilli died because they were shamed because they weren't really doing what they were doing, right? So you have bands that can do it, great. But you know what? I mentioned it long time ago that I was really happy with Scorpions because they took what band out? Thunder Mother. If you haven't checked out Thunder Mother, you need to check those women out. That is a great band. And then they're not together anymore, but check out Crucified Barbara, another great female band. I love the Donnas too. Their early work, I really love that stuff. Some of the later stuff didn't thrill me because it tried to get a little bit too melodic, and their lead singer isn't quite there. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you just have to know when you step into a different realm and try to do. I can't do Boston. I'm not going to try to do that. There's just certain things that I am not able to do. Whether I'm not able to do that yet, I don't know. If I was trained, maybe I'd be able to do a little closer. But anyway, but take some of these other bands out. They're not even young bands. Primal Fear is not a young band. They've been out for a while. And then, Elegant Weapons, that's a new project with some older artists that obviously can kill it. Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest and Scott Travis from Judas Priest, drummer and guitar player, are in that band. And it's just amazing. It's just great stuff. I feel it's great stuff. I would deem it a great album. I like Black Swan, Jeff Pilson. Check out Black Swan. Their latest album is really good. And what's really fun though is when you can get turned on to these bands like Primal Fear. Even me, I finally dove into Disturbed. Never listened to Disturbed. Finally listened to them. Checked out the whole catalog. Love it. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. There are things that are popular by them that I'm not in love with, but that's okay. I still really like it. It's still good. It's just, let's just take, for example, Sound of Silence. It's a wonderful cover. It's a very good cover. Do I want to hear it a lot? Probably not. Because it builds and then it gets to the end and then that's it. There's no working your way all the way through the song. It's just a slow build all the way to the top. So at some point I'm like, okay, I got to walk up this hill again. Okay. It's good though. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It is good. It's got a great feel. It's got a great mood. It's just not my go-to to hear it all the time. I'd rather just hear the original multiple times. But that's something I wanted to talk to you guys about though. But these are some bands. Grand Design. Check out a band called Grand Design. If you dig Def Leppard stuff that's like Hysteria and still, really it stayed in that lane, I want to say, then check out Grand Design. Also, what's the other one? Chimera. Check out Chimera. Another one, Rob Moratti, and that is Moratti. These are some bands that you're going to find that have a real cool commercial bite, and it's going to be more of that kind of arena rock stuff if you're into anything like that. If you dig the Def Leppard stuff, if you dig Loverboy, if you dig the Journey thing, you dig who's somebody else that's a little heavier than that. But if it's that great feel and that great, it's got the keyboards and the big sound. And so you have Rob Moratti's another one. Another one is Fair Warning. Check out Fair Warning. Stardust, Heartwind, East Temple Avenue. Was just checking out some of that today. Hartman, Snakes in Paradise. They have a track that I'm thinking about for my band. Oh, good gosh. One of my favorites, Confess. Check out Confess. Their cover of What's Love Got to Do with It is brilliant. Played it live a couple of times. Wicked Smile. I'm telling you about them again. Be sure and check out Wicked Smile. It's great stuff. Mitch Malloy. Sometimes this app gets a little weird. So I try to shut up and it's still playing as I've shut it off. I've already shut off the app and it still plays. Again, check out some of these bands, but especially like Confess. I just love Confess. Their stuff is great. Relationship is awesome. The Defiance. So that's where I kind of got started today. The Defiance are some of the guys from Danger Danger. So check them out. You're gonna dig it. I mean, it's it's it just goes along with people don't make that kind of music anymore. They do. Corporate America just won't let you hear it because they don't know what they they don't think it's happening. And they just sit back and they wait for something to show up. And can I sell it? And can I get this band out? Can I sell this band? That's why that's why I got my own thoughts on it, but that's not how it works. But anyway, um, the music industry. So, but the Defiants, check them out. Really good stuff. Really good and solid. I was listening to a bunch of that today because I finally heard about them, and it was great. Now, here's a playlist. Yes, I get it. You can stop playing. Here is one that they set it up for me on, how they do that. Their little algorithm tells me what they think I want to hear. And the name of that album by Bill Nelson was, what was the name of it? Oh, Quit. Oh crap! What is that word? Quit dreaming and jump on the beam. And get on the beam. Is that what it is? Yeah, and get on the beam. Yeah. Quit dreaming and get on the beam. That was supposed to be the third in the whole grand scheme of things. That would have been the third Red Noise album. Or after they did Drastic Plastic with Bebop Deluxe, then it would have been the second one. So blah blah blah. So anyway, but they set one up for me. And I looked at it today and I was like, I'm not doing that. So it's called Metal Covers. All right, let me put that in. Metal Covers playlist. So a collection of the best metal covers out there. Okay. Made for Viking Stew, it says. Seriously, it says that right here. All right. So Jesus, He Knows Me by Ghost. I've never heard that. No More Mr. Nice Guy by Megadeth. That's good. I'm cool with that. I would have put that on my list. Lots of anger on that record. Yeah, on the KFD, yes. Mick Brown too beat up to do anything. Mick Brown is the drummer for Dokken. And he's treated himself kind of rough over the years, I think. I don't want to get into anything because I don't know for sure or anything, but he's always been the party guy, big party guy. But I had the chance to meet up with him a couple times. Real nice guy. I had fun talking with him. He and John Levin were walking around at the NAMM show many years ago, and I got them to my buddy's booth. They were looking for the Sonar booth. Got a lot of bands to listen to and get caught up for the new album, like Wasp and Dokken. Yeah. I saw a Dokken best of vinyl. It's kind of just a gathering of like 10 songs. They have these vinyl collections now. I just saw them at Walmart the other day, and they had one for Dokken and one for Rat. A couple of my favorite bands, by the way. I mean, I really still enjoy their music. What about Blue Tears? Yeah, Blue Tears. We can get into that. I remember Blue Tears, and I listened to that. I have to re-listen to it. It's been a while. But yeah, another one of those bands. Thanks, Blake. I appreciate you mentioning that. Another one of those bands that are, they get overlooked. However, I will say, though, I mean, Hybrid Ice, who was big in Philadelphia when my buddy was growing up there, wrote the song Magdalene, and then that was covered by Boston on their third record, which I like the original better. And Third Stage was not a happy record for me. I just thought it was a little overindulgent and just not presented well. Good recordings. It was a little low on the volume. It was a little low on the production there, but and just like I say, it didn't move along. I had a fraternity brother that was pissed at me because I did a bad review of that album, which was okay. That's too bad. We all have our thoughts. And I had my reasons behind it. I worked on the radio when that album came out, and Amanda was a great song, beautiful song. Starts the record, if you can believe that. I did not see that coming. When I bought the record, because again, it has good songs. Is it a great record? Nope. Great songs? Yes. Just not, the production just wasn't there. It wasn't punchy enough. Not like Don't Look Back. I mean, the first album, bam. First Boston record, second Boston record, boom. Love that record. But then that third one came out and it was just a little lackluster. Just couldn't get out of its own way. Kind of like Lock Up the Wolves by Dio. I felt the same way about it. Now I don't want to lose myself, which I already have. So, oh, we're doing these songs. That's right. Sorry. Tangents, you know how they are. So Heroes by Motorhead. I don't think I've heard that maybe more than once. Turn the Page by Metallica. Not my style. Let me put it this way too. I also have a bad experience with that because a DJ on Keishi one night says, "We got some Metallica coming up for you right after this." And then when it came on, they were playing Turn the Page. I'm like, you cannot do that. Do not do that to your public. Do not tell me you're playing Metallica because I'm looking forward to Master of Puppets. Even though your list is this long of Metallica songs you're going to play, I know one of them is Master of Puppets. I'd rather hear that. There's a ton of stuff off of Ride the Lightning I would like to hear, you know, Asylum, you know, anything else. There's a ton of stuff. I mean, yeah, one, I'd rather hear that, you know, at the time. But no, played Turn the Page. Oh, yeah, mama. That would not be on my list. Lonely Nights, Yorn. Yorn is a great vocalist, Yorn Landy. He also did a bunch of work with Russell from Symphony X. So if you want to check those out, Landy and Russell. And then there's a gentleman, Tommy Tolkey, I think is Tomkey, is wrote. They have these albums where there's a bunch of great songs written. One of them was a little lackluster. It kind of was getting old, and then they changed the writer, and then they put out another record, and then Russell Allen. Actually, that's what it is. It's Landy and Allen. But Russell Allen actually put out another album, which is kind of similar with the same kind of artwork on the cover with a female singer. And I don't know if I can get that to you right now. Lonely Nights, though, Bryan Adams. Bryan Adams wrote a lot of songs that a lot of cool bands did. Stuff I didn't even know. Like 38 Special did Teacher, Teacher. He wrote that. Oh, here's one for you, too. Another song written by Bryan Adams, Draw the Line. Where do you draw the line? I heard his version on the 30th anniversary album, and I was like, I have this. I know who did this, but I couldn't think of it. Sure enough, Ted Nugent. That's who did it. It's on the Penetrator album, and the late, great Brian Howe sang it. Brian Howe, what a great voice that was. I mean, is still, thank God. There's plenty of recorded stuff with Bad Company and Jimmy Page. He did stuff with Jimmy Page. Wasting My Time. I love that song. And then he was with, you know, some other people, but he was with Ted Nugent, and that song was on there. So anyway, so Lonely Nights. Yeah, I don't know. Uriah Heep covered it too. I couldn't understand that one though. They did it way back. I have all my concert T-shirts. I've taken photos, so I'll be presenting those to you guys soon. Show you what I have. But they did Head First, and Uriah Heep covered Lonely Nights by Bryan Adams on there, and I thought it's a little soon to do that, I think, but you know. Hey Joe by Body Count, Come Together by Godsmack, Land of Confusion by Disturbed. I like it because I love that doggone song. It's so good. But he's got a little lilting thing he does at the end of a line, And I thought he did it way too much in that song. Still like it, but there's that little lilting thing, and he just kept doing it, and I'm like, stop. Testament doing some Led Zeppelin, Nobody's Fault. Astronomy Domino by Voivod. I'm not familiar with that song. Must be a classic song. Just Got Paid, ZZ Top, done by Mastodon. Cars by Gary Newman, by Fear Factory. I have heard that. It's pretty cool. Wish You Were Here, some Pink Floyd by Avenged Sevenfold. Whiskey in the Jar. I feel about the same about that as I do Turn the Page. I just thought, nah. Here's one for you, though. And another band, because I was mentioning Primal Fear, Firewind. Check them out. They do a copy of Maniac. The only reason that this list doesn't thrill me is because there's a lot of stuff on here that I'm like, but there's a lot of stuff that is not on this list that, I mean, and it's still, it's something that the computer puts together, but still there's some misses out here on this one. Shock the Monkey by Coal Chamber. I've heard that, with Ozzy, I think, right? I Only Want to Be With You. That's a fun version of the Bay City Rollers song done by Volbeat. That's on one of their regular records too. That's not like an extra track. Shout 2000. I would assume that's Shout, Shout, Let It All Out. Tears for Fears, done by Disturbed. House of the Rising Sun by Five Finger Death Punch. I haven't heard it, but House of the Rising Sun can be fun. I mean, it's okay. Stairway to Heaven by Mastodon. Helter Skelter, done by Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson. How creepy is that? Purple Rain by Inter Arma. I'm not even familiar with that band, so I might have to check that out. I did see that this morning, and I thought, got to check it out because Purple Rain's such a great song. Thriller by Coritni. 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 Message in a Bottle, The Police by Machine Head. Get Lucky by Hailstorm. I'm assuming that's the Loverboy tune. Word Up by Korn. Now, I don't know it by Korn, but I know it by Gun, because there's even footage out there of my buddy Toby Jepson when he was filling in Gun doing Word Up live. So it's kind of cool. It would be a cool one. I thought about doing that in my band. In the Air Tonight. I really want to hear this by Non-Point. That's the band, Non-Point. King of Pain by The Police by Mudvayne. Gimme Shelter by Pain. Wicked Game. I've heard this. I want to do this version, something like it, by Him. It's the Chris Isaacs tune. Losing My Religion by Trivium. Cinnamon Girl by Typo Negative. That's pretty cool. I have heard that. Africa by Chaos Divine. Never heard of the band. Love the song. Love that record. Bullet the Blue Sky, U2 by POD. Tainted Love by Sepultura. I know it by Scorpions. Scorpions did a copy of that as well. Rooster by Howling Giant. Enjoy the Silence. I'm not sure what it says. Cover version. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Enjoy the Silence by Lacuna Coil covers it. Personal Jesus by Marilyn Manson. And Sammy Hagar did a version of that, and Def Leppard did a version of that. The Def Leppard version left me a little wanting more. I was like, is this all you're going to give me? Which is the way I feel about Ghost. By the way, I'm not a big Ghost fan. I love the music, and the guy can sing. That's fine. But the singing just doesn't go with the music for me. That's all there is to it. I'm like, this is all I'm getting? Because it really sounds like you're going to kick my ass. But, Summer Breeze, the old classic track by Seals and Crofts by Typo Negative. Dreamweaver, cool. If I took that camera and turned it, you'd see I just bought a copy of that you can hear that title track on Wayne's World. Done by Crowbar. I haven't heard that yet. My Heart Will Go On, which is the track from Celine Dion, of course, from Titanic. Done by Dragon Force. Not a big Dragon Force fan. I can appreciate how fast they can play, but the triggers and everything on those drum kits just drives me nuts. I'm like, just slow it down. Sweet Dreams. There you go. Some Eurythmics done by Iron Savior. Great band. Check them out. I got into Iron Savior many years ago. Dirty Diana, another Jackson tune done by Shaman's Harvest. Small Town Boy. Hometown Boy. Is it? I don't know. I don't know. Small Town Boy. I don't know that song right off the bat. Paradise Lost does that. You Spin Me Round Like a Record, Baby. Round, round, round. Done by Dope. Oops, I Did It Again by Children of Bodom. When Doves Cry by Nonpoint. There you go. More Nonpoint. Limp Bizkit. This doesn't even fit me. I don't listen to Limp Bizkit. I don't listen to Korn. Of course, I do listen to like the Damn Things, and I do listen to what's my other favorite? The Damn Things. And oh crap. The other band, the other band. Tura Sauce did a cover of Rasputin. Faith by Limp Bizkit. Yeah, I already mentioned that. And Rebel Yell by Black Veil Brides. I might have to check that out. I'm a big fan of that song. I love doing it live. I love singing it. So anyway, there you go. But the ones that it didn't include, there's at least 2 that are huge to me. In fact, I could look it up because I put it on a 6-pack. Were covers. One is Wind Beneath My Wings by Sonata Arctica. If you haven't heard that, check it out. If you're okay with listening to that song, some people don't like to listen to that song. I think it's a great song, and I think they did a wonderful job with it. It's very, very cool. Especially the way they start it. You don't even know really what you're going to hear, and then all of a sudden he comes in, and it may even take some people a little longer to figure it out. The other one is by a band called all right, I got to get this right. I have to get this right. Jaded Heart covered Philip Bailey and Phil Collins' Easy Lover. The way it sounds, it's like Deep Purple with Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale, that time frame, covered that song. And it's so well produced. It's really a good cover. And another one I'd forgotten about, Dominion. That's one of the other ones that's in my playlist. Dominion is another great band to check out. If you dig in your hard rock metal, that's where I'm coming from. And check out Dominion. They do a cover of Chris de Burgh's Don't Pay the Ferryman. Fantastic cover. Just a lot of fun. Really, really good stuff. And again, Confess doing a cover of, it's not even in here. I don't know why. That should be in here. Their cover of What's Love Got to Do with It. It's great. So 10-1, my phone's listening to me, and it will be in there by tomorrow. Maybe even by tonight. So anyway, lots of fun, lots of good music, lots of bands that you may not know. So I just want to make you aware of that stuff because it's out there. Please go out and check out Wayward Sons. They're hitting the road again. It's been a little while. Sam, their guitar player, has been on tour with Ricky Warwick, I do believe. They went on tour with him while Toby and his wife were doing a big kind of a world tour themselves, just being tourists and enjoying the world. He'd been very busy, especially after COVID, shut down a bunch of stuff. And then they put out that next record, and things just still weren't up to par. We were supposed to go over and see them play at the Download Festival, and that got canceled a couple of years ago. So we couldn't do that. And that was just sad. I was really looking forward to it as well. But anyway, they did that and needed some time away and doing a really cool thing like that. So I'm glad to see that happen. They sent lots of reports back and kept everybody all of us, all of us super fans, as he mentioned one time, to uh, to what they were doing and how much fun they were having. Then they came through into California, up through Canada, down into New York, and went home. And so now they're getting ready to go back on the road. So lots of things to share, lots of things happening in the news. I think what I'll do is I'll be prepping for that. This is my growth in life, and we're moving forward, and I'm looking forward to bringing some more shows to you guys and having some fun, doing the open chat thing. Please, if you've got it, jump in, ask me some questions. We'll have some cool material and cool stories. And I've got some, I don't know, I've got some things planned. I won't say anything more because if it don't happen, it don't happen. But in the meantime, I'll be working on it. Um, it's great being back, guys. Thank you so much for being here and checking this out, and hoping to bring you. It's a quick reminder that when you leave your house, you're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. So let's all consider each other and not walk around the store listening to our phone out loud. They're called headphones. Look, they're Bluetooth. You put them on your head, and then your phone plays for you, not everybody else. What a bitchin' idea. So, yeah, pet peeve. But anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I will thoroughly look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday for a quick show. And in the meantime, might have some shorts for you, so we'll keep in touch. Take care, and I'll show you some building of the drum kit. Take it easy, guys.